It will be a cover BM at the bar Akroma TV. So, Naibora in Sema John Dramani Mahama, the president of the land, Eshe Bosse, a year Galamse, and semi Galamse, Koso, or Manganimi, or Bar, and as a Ghana for Tawan at the man no to power, obey the bit me behind the Akon Iti, and I say, I can say, dear, organized labor for and Sababonting, to Tujapa, Kasayi pass at the internal John Dramani Mahama, or to power 5 months ni. Galamse no kwa na ekoso galamse ni to no mutu asasna no mose ye den na ekoso omasoma se fa message kese pa enko ye den enkoma the president of the land John Dramani Mahama eno ene nsem amesome saka amede abramutu mayenko ne nkuti ja omusomo ye den omoto na eba bidi hu enkomo.
Galamse, Mr. President, we in organized labor are surprised that 5 months into your reign, the Galamse menace is getting worse. The destruction of our environments, including our forests and water bodies, is increasing with rapidity. Mr. President, we expect you to provide leadership in stopping the menace of Galamse. We expect your government to immediately revoke, not amend, Legislative Instrument 2462. Remember, organized labor has a letter from your predecessor suspending the LI 2462. Pending its revocation, LI stands as a legal doorway through which reckless mining activities are taking root in ecologically sensitive areas. We urge your administration, Mr. President, to take decisive action to close this chapter and lead a new approach that prioritizes environmental protection and responsible land use. Mr. President, we in organized labor are surprised that 5 months into your reign, the Galamse menace is getting worse. The destruction of our environments, including our forests and water bodies, is increasing with rapidity. Mr. President, we expect you to provide leadership in stopping the menace of Galamse. We expect your government to immediately revoke, not amend, Legislative Instrument 2462. Remember, organized labor has a letter from your predecessor suspending the LI 2462. Pending its revocation, LI stands as a legal doorway through which reckless mining activities are taking root in ecologically sensitive areas. We urge your administration, Mr. President, to take decisive action to close this chapter and lead a new approach that prioritizes environmental protection and responsible land use.
Yes, we and in Zambia ekoso e omanga ma mensume saka amede abramu betima comment section wa ko kire wadwin e wo ye nsema won so wate na myabra mensume tumi akinkan e de amaw man tu aso na yehwe video no.
President John Dramani Mahama told us that the Kufuor's government is aware of the people that are engaged in illegal mining activities. And for that matter, when they deported Aisha One, President Mahama vehemently spoke against it, that law was discriminatory, the act of deporting Aisha One, when in actual fact we are prosecuting Ghanaians to face the full rigors of the law. That is discriminatory. Now he comes to power. Not only is he deporting 1 or 2 of Chinese people, but he says through his Minister of Interior, Mutaka, that now his foreign policy when it comes to the fight against Galamse is that when he arrests any non-citizen who is engaged in any illegal activity destroying our waters and forests, all he would do is to put the person on the plane and say, bye-bye, thank you for coming to destroy our waters. You go and enjoy all the largesse that you've been able to accrue from illegal activities. And we are saying that Article 17...
I thought that was terrible.
In fact, that act per itself is affront to the Constitution.
Yes,
when
Godfrey
you read
Dami
Article 17, 2 and 3.
Let's talk about 17. Godfrey Dami tells me that when he was Attorney General, he jailed so many Chinese on Galamse.
Right.
He did. So those Chinese in prison now, they'll let them go?
Now you, Paul, you've studied law. One of the theories of punishment, when it comes to punishing people, is not just punishing of the person who has committed the act, but it's also serving as a deterrent for people who want to engage in such act.
The prohibition.
So when you are a president, and your foreign policy is that when you arrest Chinese, when you arrest Burkinabes, you are not going to prosecute them. You are not interested in prosecuting them, but you are going to put them on the plane and send them away. What you are indirectly telling them is that The state laws are not going to work. So when I do it and you deport me, I will go and tell Paul that Paul, go to Ghana. It is very lucrative. When they catch you, they won't jail you. And for us, that is discriminatory, which the Constitution and Article 17 clearly speaks against.
But why did Muntaka say that?
Because they have formed Ghana-China Galamsey Board Association.
What's that?
Just recently at Kempinski, we saw Ibrahim Mahama,
The president's brother?
the president's brother, and the crying minister. What's his name?
Crying minister?
The one who cries.
Who's that?
Amakofibua. So,
he's crying?
Yes,
oh,
yes.
yeah, you mean the video that
he was crying?
He was crying about at Kontama and he wasn't crying about Galamsey.
I mean, that for me is a crocodile tears because he comes from Elembele.
Yes, I know.
That minister comes from Elembele.
Yeah.
And Galamsey activities has virtually ruined the whole of Elembele.
So that's why he was crying?
No. All this while he has not been crying. Now he comes in and because he understands the psyche of the Ghanaian people, he wants to use this as a means of socially engineering them that we are working is so hard for us. But we tell the minister, if you believe that the activities of Galamsey is so devastating to which you are crying, you go to cabinet, you sit with the president. You should be crying to the president. So President Tenena Kache said the activities of Galamsey is so damning, is so devastating, it's an existential threat. And for that matter, the president should go ahead and issue the state of emergency. You are not doing the same. You call a press conference and you come and cry. As soon as you FOME, as so big Galamsey issue. Sabi Yakufo de niti sopa nkobe hunu su. Enso kache Yakufo de so afeli. I don't want to enso. So Paul, we are saying that the government
in that famous speech, did he cite Galamsey?
Yes,
the
clearly.
famous Akufo-Addo's final sessional address.
If you say Akufo-Addo has failed.
No, he said that yours is a way not to govern. He told Akufo-Addo that Akufo-Addo
and you think crying is the way to govern? That is a weak leadership that he exhibited right
So
there.
you think that the NDC government doesn't have the political, because
It doesn't have the
George said
political.
within 1 week, Akufo-Addo can stop Galamsey.
And within 1 week, they are not willing to stop Galamsey. They will not. They are unwilling.
Isn't that they found out since they came to government that is difficult, or in opposition they knew that they can't?
They knew that they cannot fight it because one way or the other. John Mahama had been in government from 2009 as the vice president. In 2013 as the president. He knew the situation and he knows that this activity of going to arrest people, burning excavators, doing A, B, C, and D, it is not the way to solve the issue. Because Akufo-Addo had been doing these activities for the past 8 years, arresting people, burning excavators. And you come in and you are doing exactly what Akufo-Addo was doing. So if you knew that you were going to use the same measure to deal with the issue with the menace that we face, why did you tell us to fight for you and you're going to use extraordinary measures to deal with an extraordinary situation?
Ahana mdeka sebo na ebisinya mdeka sebo edebro meeting edi obin kebo sechi makramo